Hello, happy Wednesday. There's so many things happens like right before you go live, right? Of all the things that could happen, this could not be a better time. I just got some great news that Diana has shared with me in the messenger. I'm like reading her message and then I get another text message from someone else asking for the link. And it's one of those like Mercury in retrograde moment that you just have to stay calm, take a deep breath. You got this, and we are live. So those of you who are joining me live, say hello, drop a taco or tell me taco because taco is something that I really enjoy eating. So welcome to live. Today we are going to talk about, are you missing a piece in your story? So those of you who are live, go ahead and drop me a taco or say hello. Let me know that you are watching this. I'm streaming live in my Facebook group, LinkedIn, as well as my YouTube. So depending on where you are, let me know where you are. Oh my God, Judy. Yes, oh my God. Now, Facebook, taco, I love it. There should be a link right above this caption. If you give, hi, Julie, there you are. Sharon said taco. Yes, good morning, everybody. Are you missing a piece in the story? Well, so this is something that I was struggling with personally when I first started my coaching business because I realized that I have to create content. And when I create content, I had this impression of you're just writing and typing and once you put it out, people are supposed to know, right? People, your audience is going to pick up like the important pieces inside that caption. And so if you follow me on Instagram at Elevate Life Coaching, actually Elevate Life Coach, it's my Instagram handle. And if you go check out my some of my older posts, it's not the way that I am writing compared to now. Now it makes more sense. The message actually resonate with people. Judy dropped me a whole bunch of her. Hi, Shannon. Judy dropped me a whole bunch of pancake. It's gonna show up in a moment. I don't know why pancake, but um, so if you go check out my Instagram account, some of the posts are very generic. And the way that I was writing my caption in the past, it was more coming to the perspectives of what do I believe is important for people to know. So as a coach, we all have that, we're passionate about what we do. So when we write things that are important. So for example, in the past, I was a confidence coach. So a lot of what I share and talk about was about self-judgment or judgment, period. It's about how, a lot of time we have a lot of judgment against ourselves and against others. And that create that whole roadblock or mindset or limiting belief about who we are in this world. So that's great because as a coach, you probably resonate with that message. You'll probably understand. You totally get what I was trying to come across. But as our audience doesn't know what that means. They don't have the same language as coaches do. And this is another drawback when I see coaches, jumping on and doing barter coaching. You have to realize that when you're doing barter coaching, a lot of what you share and the language that you use, it's very limited to the audience that you're serving. So if you're using the language of reaching your high potential, or I'm going to help you eliminate the self-talk or limiting belief, those are the terminology that your general public clients, they're not going to understand that. Their language is very everyday, very simple language, and which position me into a very unique position because first of all, English is not my first language. So my English, the way that I articulate English is probably using the simplest terminology that anybody can understand. There's a lot of complex word I still don't know. I still don't remember. I have to look it up in a dictionary. And which makes perfect sense because instead of using complicated words, I'm using everyday simple language that people can understand. But that is just one piece of the puzzle when you talk about the story that you want to share. And when I talk about story, it's really about the message that you want to share. What are you trying to teach and what are you trying to accomplish and what for your clients? Like your client is struggling with something in aspects of their life, whether it's career, finance, or something that's important, that or fitness and health, right? That would be another category. A lot of us don't actually realize that there's a problem in our life until something physically start to show up in our body, right? We have stress. Okay, my blood pressure is high. One of my colleagues is actually, she's only in her 30s and she's on high blood pressure. And the only reason why she start realize that she's having a lot of stress is because her doctor told her that she needs to be on her high blood pressure medication. Lillian say, glad I can join, but have right before the next appointment. Don't worry, this will be on recording, so you can always go back and watch a replay. So it manifests into some physical problem, the actual problem that people are experiencing. So what are you really missing in your story that entice them to come in and to actually feel excited about what you about to share in your coaching practice, in your coaching service that you're offering them? So what is missing is, you ready for this? You guys gonna throw taco at me when I, when I tell you what is missing. What is missing? The most important piece of a storytelling in story is having a plot. A plot is a sequence of events that had happened and that walks your audience through that journey of act 1, act 2, and then act 3. And so if you were to use the same idea or concept of how we do in storytelling, the fact that every story has a plot, has a character, has some meaning, has some conflicts, has some climax, then you need to have a plot, right? Which is why a lot of time you see people jumping on video and they're just rambling on because they don't have a specific plot that walking their audience through that theme. So every successful story that they exist, one of the most common one or three most common one that you'll hear over and over when it comes to storytelling or how you structure your storytelling is coming from movies like Lord of the Ring, the Star Wars. You'll hear a lot about the Hunger Game. All these have great plot of Act 1, Act 2, and then act 3. So how does that look when you apply it into your coaching business and when you're doing storytelling in any content that you create exists in your business that would translate to become message that resonate with your ideal client? Act 1, typically, what do you get in act 1? It's a setting, right? It's a beginning of your story. What is it about this story? Why should I pay attention? What do I need to know? What is this story about? So you kind of start enticing people about, give them a little hint about what this story is about, right? And then you start, Judy said, I just want to fast forward to the ending. So you see, this is where a lot of problem comes in, right? Because when you fast forward to the ending, what do you get? You get like, okay, completely confused. Why should I pay attention to it? Am I a Star Wars fans? No. Okay, I'm gonna skip your story. So it's very important to create that setting of act 1, act 2, act 3, and it doesn't have to be long. Your act 1 is where you set up for the character. What is the character going through? Where the character growing up? And some of the important pieces is not so important, right? What's important to you is not important for them. So for example, what is not important? The day or the time is not important. Okay, the detail of when you started your coaching business is not important. Maybe you remember it was July 21st when you first got your certification. Scratch that. Nobody wants to know. No one wants to know that you started on July 21st, 2018, 2019, whatever. That's irrelevant for people. It's irrelevant information for your audience. They don't want to know. They want to know what's in this for me. Okay, so your act 1 is about setting up a storyline for your character. What is your character struggling with? Maybe it's struggling with hearing a lot of crickets. Like there's a lot of my clients who's struggling with hearing a lot of crickets on their social media. Let's see. Yep, Judy said crickets. Helen say, 1, 2, 3. So a lot of them are struggling with hearing crickets, and that's a setting. That's a statement to set up your act one. Act one is where the character is, it's an everyday person, or suddenly you become inspired and you wanted to become a coach, and here you are, you started your coaching business. That's your act one. Now, when you go to act two, what's happening in act two? Act two is where you start to encounter some of the conflict, right? Some of the obstacles, some of the challenges that start to show up. So your act two would sound like something, you try all the marketing strategy, and there's like all these social media outlets, there's all these technologies that you have to learn, and we're in Mercury retrograde, by the way. And so there's a lot of things that you have to learn, and you're struggling with it because this is something completely new and foreign, and you have never done it before, right? That's your obstacle in getting your business out there and start attracting client. Unless you can overcome that technological challenge, or your social media struggle, or overcoming and kill all the bugs on your social media, then you are not going to position yourself in front of the right audience to start attracting them. So that's your act two. Act two right there off the bat would be your example of what your character is struggling. So you have the setting, and this is where a lot of people are missing. They focus on act three. Here's the journey I want you to be in. Your audience needs to sign up with you, sign up to your program. I want to take directly, go to the ending, like Judy did, right? Fast forward, just go to act three. All I want for you is just to sign up to the program. Great. Unless you paint the context of act one and act two, people are going to walk into the theater, and you know what? I want my refund. I want my ticket. I want my money back, right? Because it's not going to be very convincing, and you're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting on your discovery call, because you fail to walk them through that journey, and they have no idea what they're walking through. So you'll notice that if you don't have the act one and act two, your act three, which is the part where you start showing people, here's the solution, and here I have the perfect way of helping you to reach to your full potential, getting what you want in life, helping you becoming successful. If you straight walking people to act three, they're going to be very confused. And so when you get people to jump onto a discovery call, what do? A lot of time you're doing that buying, right? You need to have a strong buying in order to close that sale. Now, what I'm teaching you here is, if you were to do this, okay, if you were to do storytelling, if you were to use storytelling as your marketing strategy at all, then you have to have a setting. You have to walk them through a journey, basically. Act one is where you set up the character. What is it that they're struggling? What obstacle do they have to overcome? And here's my solution for you, right? I have created a perfect solution, which you can just sign up and jump on a call with me. So by the time you walk your audience through act one, act two, act three, when they jump onto your discovery call, I can guarantee you don't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting, because they already in their back of their mind, they already realize that how good you are. Why should I trust you? And do I know you? And can I take out my wallet and pay you to get to where I want to be? So in act three, it's really about coming back to that full circle of, I can help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. All you have to do is, here's a button, and just sign up. And so the type of clients that actually walk into your discovery call is going to be a lot more committed. They're ready to purchase. They're ready to sign up. But if you don't create your content that focus and meeting people where they at, then a lot of the heavy lifting, you have to do it at the last minute. And as an introvert, I know this is something that I was struggling with, because every time I get them onto the phone, I have no doubt I'm going to be able to close that sales, but I have to do a lot of heavy lifting in convincing them why coaching works. And you have to remember, these are the people, your clients, right? As a life and mindset coach, I know this because that's where I started. I started as life and mindset coach. Pre-qualification is very important. Julie, yes. So pre-qualification is super important. And how do you pre-qualify them? You don't wait till the last minute when they jump onto your discovery call. You pre-qualify them throughout your content creation, throughout every single videos, every single piece of content that you put out there. Okay. So every time you create something, you need to think about where people are at, what is it that they're struggling, and what solution is appropriate here that is relevant to resolve their obstacle, resolve their problem. So this is something that I see happening a lot of time, is that people jump onto a video and they said, at the end of the day, I'm going to sell my program. Great. But what they fail to do is they talk about their own story for a long time, right? I am a international speaker, I'm author, I published so many books, I was featured on this magazine. So there's a lot of stories about them rather about the audience that they're serving. So you hear, if your copy, okay, if your video has a lot of me, or I, then think about how you translate that into, place it into your audience shoes. Like, what is it about them that they're struggling with? They may not have 5-figure coaching business. They may not have like a huge follower, 5,000 followers on their social media. So place yourself into that shoes, and that makes you more relevant, that makes you more relatable. And so that's your act one, that's your setting, right? That's where I was when I first started. My act two would be where I was struggling with. What am I struggling with? And then finally, act three, here I am. I'm sitting here and I'm sharing this information with you because I know I walked that path. I know that I was there struggling with just 200 followers on my social media. And nobody, all I heard was cricket. Because what I was missing was that painting that picture, having a plot of how I can help people to accomplish it. Now, that plot, when you talk about the plot, act one through three, it's also important to focus on the theme. So there's so many of us, right? Coaches, we cover different niche. There's career niche, there's personal development, there's marriage, relationship, and there's business, finance. There's a lot of different pieces to that pie. And so when you focus on your plot, you want to pick a theme. Okay, where does that theme comes in? The theme comes in, let's say you are a health and wellness coach. That would be a theme that you focus on. So any plot that you create, your act one and two and three, is going to focus on your theme. Your theme is fitness journey. So everything that you create is about fitness, right? So what do I need to do in order to run a 5K marathon? Or what do I need to do in order to run a 10K marathon? And you talk about, in order to run a 5K marathon, you probably need to stop eating McDonald's. Uh, let's see. Aw, thank you. So you probably need to stop eating McDonald's, but it's something that my cheat day on the weekend, by the way. So I am not going to run a 5K marathon, but for your audience who's interested in running a 5K marathon, they're gonna sit back and they're gonna sit down and see what you have to offer, right? So that's how you capture their attention, because you have a very focused plot and you have a specific theme that talk about something that they're struggling with, a character that you're struggling with. So today, I want you to actually think about the story that you've been telling for your business. Maybe you're a career coach. Maybe you are a health and wellness coach. Maybe you're, I don't know, for Helen, it's a trauma healing coach or a business coach or a social media coach. No matter which niche that you are in, what is your act one? What is your act two and act three? Every time you talk about a story, it could be your own story, but you got to paint that picture, walking people through that journey in order to keep that ticket so that the people don't ask for a refund. So how do you stop people from asking for a refund? You make your story interesting. And when you have an interesting plot, people's going to sit and listen to you more so than not. So if you have your popcorn ready, great, fantastic. I hope this is helpful. And just to let you know that I am offering a masterclass, which is going to happen. The first video is coming out on Monday, the 26th. So if you haven't got a chance to actually sign up to the masterclass, be sure to go to that link. Yes, attract client through storytelling.com, and you will be able to get my free PDF right now. There's actually a pretty cool workbook that I put out. What's your story? It helps you to map out your storyline. And if you're telling your story, or you've been telling your story for the last decade or so, what are you missing in your story? Does your story have a plot? And it's really important to think about, like, walking through that act 1 through 3, because that's what sells ticket in the theater. If you look at all the like major blockbuster movies, they all have these pattern: act 1 through 3. All right. Thank you so much for coming, and I would love to hear from you. So if you go ahead and drop me some comment. Everybody love the like button, so go ahead and click on that like button and follow me, and drop your comment, your reflection, your thoughts about these videos for me down below. They all have conflict. Everybody have conflict. Every story has a conflict, right? That's just happening like 99% of the time. Everybody has something going on, big or small. Like earlier this morning, last night I was shooting a sales video, and that was my conflict. I was fighting against it because, as an introvert and as someone who's coming off from that server's heart, for me to jump on a video and talk about sales, that's like, I don't know about that. But once in a while, you do have to create your sales video, and that was just one of my biggest frog that I needed to eat. And so I'm pretty full right now. I ate my frog. All right. Every story has a conflict, but every story also need a plot. If you don't have a plot, think about that this week, or think about that today, because chances are, if you're missing it and you take people fast forward to act 3 and just ask people to sign up, what you're going to get are crickets. Promise. All right. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon. Bye.